Earlier this year, Samsung launched its sequel to the insanely popular Galaxy S2 in the Galaxy S3. The Galaxy S3 was received well by both users and critics alike. Starting with over 10 million pre-orders, the S3 has never looked back and has gone on to establish itself as top dog in the smartphone market today. And now, in the month of November, comes Google's own Nexus 4 with a loaded spec sheet and at a never-before-seen price, manufactured by none other than LG this time. And despite the specs and the price, the fact that the Nexus 4 is being manufactured by LG automatically makes it the underdog here. Does the Nexus 4 have enough fight in it to unseat the Galaxy S3 from its throne, or is it just another phone manufactured by LG? Let's take a closer look here. Let's start with the build. While the Samsung Galaxy S3 has often been criticized of feeling a bit too plasticky, the Nexus 4 with Gorilla Glass 2 on the front and back, chrome and rubbery sides, has a lot more premium feel to it. Both phones have similarities when it comes to button placements. The 3.5mm headphone jack and a mic on top, the volume rockers to the left, the micro USB port and the other mic at the bottom, and the power button to the right. It's worth noting that the power button is a little lowered on the Galaxy S3. On the front, the Nexus 4, being Google's own phone, lacks the capacitive or physical buttons found on the Galaxy S3. It has its LED notification light at the bottom instead. The Nexus 4 also features a 1.3 megapixel front-facing camera instead of the 1.9 megapixel found on the Galaxy S3. It is however worth noting that both cameras are capable of shooting 720p videos. With regards to dimensions, the Galaxy S3 is just 2.7mm longer, 1.9mm wider, and actually 0.5mm slimmer than the Nexus 4, though it houses a 4.8-inch display instead of the 4.7 found in the Nexus 4. The Galaxy S3 is also 6 grams lighter and weighs 133 grams. This can be attributed to the plastics used. While the Galaxy S3 features a user-removable plastic bag that houses the user-replaceable battery, the microSD card slot, and the microSIM slot, the back of the Nexus 4 looks a lot better with its matrix-like pattern and Gorilla Glass 2, but lacks both the user-replaceable battery and microSD support found in the Galaxy S3. Both phones pack similar 2100 mAh batteries, have 8-megapixel rear-facing cameras with LED flash that are capable of recording 1080p videos at 30 frames per second and shooting full-resolution pictures simultaneously. The placements are a little different though. The Nexus 4 also has its speaker grill down at the bottom. Personally, the Nexus 4 seems to be built better and feels more like a premium phone. But then again, the Galaxy S3 with its Design for Humans tagline actually has a lot of subtleties going for it. Say for example, look at the design over here. It's based on, it's got a pebble-esque design, again based on the inspired by nature theme that it's got going for it. That actually makes the phone a lot easier to grip with the curves over here. Not to say that the Nexus 4 is not easy to grip. Again, the Nexus 4 has the rubber running on the sides that actually makes it easy to grip. But I just feel a little more comfortable with the Galaxy S3. And again, say for example, let's take the power button over here. There's a lot of attention to detail that's gone into the Galaxy S3. So let's just turn off both displays, and over here I'm picking up the Nexus 4 and I hit the power button to turn it on. I need to move my hand a little. Okay, just to show you again, you hit the power button, you need to move your hand, maneuver it a little to continue using the phone. But pick up the S3, hit the power button, and you can use the lock screen then and there, and you can actually continue using the phone. It's not a big thing, but it's kind of nice to know that Samsung has paid attention to all these subtleties, and a lot of attention to detail has been shown for the Galaxy S3. So though I'd say that the Nexus 4 feels a little better built, the Galaxy S3 is definitely better designed. The Galaxy S3 houses a 4.8-inch Super AMOLED HD display with a resolution of 720 by 1280. This gives the Galaxy S3 a pixel density of 306 pixels per inch. The Nexus 4, on the other hand, features a 4.7-inch True HD IPS Plus display with a slightly higher 768 by 1280 pixel resolution, giving the Nexus 4 a pixel density of 318 pixels per inch. Both display technologies have their own strengths and weaknesses. While the Super AMOLED HD of the Galaxy S3 produces deep blacks, it also tends to oversaturate colors. The True HD IPS Plus display of the Nexus 4, on the other hand, produces bright, crisp and realistic colors, but at the same time it also tends to look a little washed out, especially when viewed at extreme angles. It is also worth noting that the Super AMOLED HD display of the Galaxy S3 uses a pentile matrix where each pixel of the display does not get its own subpixel. Instead, the subpixels are shared between pixels. In theory, this degrades the quality of the display, but in day-to-day usage, it's not really noticeable. With regards to specs, both phones have some similarities. While both phones come with quad-core processors, the Galaxy S3 and Exynos clocked at 1.4 GHz and the Nexus 4, a crate, clocked a little higher at 1.5 GHz. The difference lies in regards to the RAM. While the Galaxy S3 comes with 1 GB of RAM, the Nexus 4 has double the amount. It's worth noting that there is no app or game available in the Play Store today that could trouble the S3. Since both phones make easy work of anything that's thrown against them, the Nexus 4 pulls ahead only when you think in terms of future-proofing. Let's move on to storage and connectivity. The Galaxy S3 is available in 16, 32 and 64 GB variants, while the Nexus 4 is available only in 8 and 16 GB variants. The Galaxy S3 also supports expansion via microSD and also supports USB ODG, which the Nexus 4 doesn't. With USB ODG or USB on the go, you can plug in a flash drive or a wireless keyboard mouse adapter via a cheap USB ODG cable. Galaxy S3 users also get 50 gigs of Dropbox storage for 2 years. While I can understand the need to have an 8 GB variant to keep costs low, I do not understand why the top variant needs to be only 16 gigs, especially given the lack of microSD and even USB OTG support. With regards to connectivity, both phones have the usual host of Bluetooth 4.0, Wi-Fi ABGN, Wi-Fi Direct, DLNA, and so on. The Nexus 4 supports HSPA Plus with theoretical speeds up to 42 Mbps. Both phones can be connected to big screen HD TVs, the S3 using MHO and the Nexus 4 using SlimPort. Moving on to the software now. The Galaxy S3 currently runs Android 4.1.1 Jelly Bean with Samsung's Touchwiz overlay on top. Touchwiz provides you with a lot of cool features. Let me show you a few. Let's start with the lock screen. You get 4 customizable shortcuts at the bottom of the lock screen. You can just drag and drop any of these to launch the relevant app. You also get a cool water ripple effect as you slide your finger to open up the home screen. You get up to 7 home screens with pinch to preview. You can delete any home screen if you don't need it. This is not an option with vanilla Android on the Nexus 4. Jump into the phone app and you get the Smart Dial feature. Just tap the letters corresponding to the contact you want. Say I want the contact test, I just type in 8378. You can also swipe a contact right to call or left to text. This also works from the Messages app. With the text or contact open, all you need to do is pick up the phone and put it to your ear, and the phone dials the contact for you. Pull down the notification bar and you're greeted by a host of quick toggles. You also have a brightness slider here. Let's move to the app drawer. Once you open up the app drawer, you can create folders, move around apps, or sort it alphabetically the good old way. You can even list apps if you want to. Samsung also includes a few apps on its own, and these range from very useful to utterly useless at times. Like for me, the My Files file manager and the voice recorder that I'm currently recording this audio on are apps that I cannot live without. But on the other hand, apps like Chat On and Suggest, I probably haven't opened them since I reviewed this phone back in June. It is also worth mentioning that Samsung also includes a few popular third-party apps like Dropbox and Facebook. You also get a host of extra widgets. You can also easily see the downloaded apps by tapping this tab. Press and hold the home button and it takes you to a list of open apps. Tap this button and Touchwiz's memory menu opens up. Here you can see all apps that are active along with the CPU and RAM usage. The downloaded apps tab is another way to list all downloaded apps. It is also an easier way to uninstall these apps. Then you have the RAM manager. Here you can see the RAM that is being utilized and clear memory if needed. The last tab is storage, and here you can check the free space available in your internal and external memories. With regards to the camera, just like with the Nexus 4, you have the ability to shoot 1080p videos at 30 frames per second and take full resolution pictures simultaneously. You also get some extra features like burst mode, the ability to shoot videos with flash, and a host of processing options. With regards to media, Touchwiz provides you with a decent music player with equalizer settings and a gimmicky music squire. The video player is pretty solid and plays pretty much any format thrown at it. Fire up the video player and you see the quad-core processor hard at work playing every thumbnail that you see. What impresses me most with the video player is the attention to detail. While watching a video, tap the power button once to lock the screen, turning off the touch and both the capacitive and physical button. Tap this button and the video pops out, enhancing the multitasking ability of the Galaxy S3. You also get a host of other features including home screen mode that provides a basic mode to help ease the transition to Android for newcomers, blocking mode that is similar to the Do Not Disturb feature of iOS, extra motion and face and voice unlock options, and a host of motion controls. Smart alert that causes your phone to vibrate when you pick it up in case you have missed calls or notifications. Double tap to top. Tilt to zoom. Pan to move icon. Pan to browse images. Shake to update. Turn over to mute. Palm swipe to capture. And palm touch to mute. Touchwiz also has its own voice-based personal assistant in S Voice, but that has been made redundant thanks to the advent of Google Now. Moving on to the Nexus 4. The first thing about the Nexus 4 is, well, the Nexus branding. Nexus devices get direct updates from Google, that means instant updates to Android. No waiting for the manufacturer or carrier to release updates. No extra apps from them either. You get vanilla Android. Android the way Google meant it to be, without any overlays like Touchwiz or Sense or Moto Blur. Nexus 4 comes with Android 4.2 out of the box. Google means for Android versions higher than ice cream sandwich to be used with on-screen buttons. This explains the lack of capacitive or physical buttons on the Google Nexus 4. But then again, it's worth mentioning that these buttons will take a little bit of real estate on screen, though at times when you say play a video, these buttons disappear. Turn on the Nexus 4 and the first thing you see is the new Android lock screen. You can now place as many as 5 different widgets that you can swipe between without having to unlock the phone. Swipe to the right and you launch the camera. Usually when you have a pattern or a passcode set and you try to launch the camera on say a Samsung phone, it will prompt you for the passcode first before opening up the camera. HTC on the other hand lets you launch the camera without any passcode requirements but prompts you for one when you try to review the pictures that you've taken. The Nexus 4 does you one better and lets you review the pictures that you've just shot, only prompting for the passcode when you try to access older pictures. The Google search bar is now fixed on top. There are 5 home screens for you to customize. If you want more or less, you'd have to use a third-party launcher. Creating a folder is as simple as tapping and holding an icon and dropping it over another. Open up the app drawer and you're greeted by a host of regular Google apps. There are no manufacturer or carrier apps here. The regular apps include Chrome as the default browser, Gmail, Play Music, Google Maps, and so on. Notice the only social networking app present is Google+. You need to download the Facebook and Twitter apps from the Play Store. While it's not a big deal, I just wanted to mention it. There is a separate tab for widgets and here you get previews of each widget. Touch and hold a widget and you can now place it on any home screen. An outline shows the space needed and the icons on the home screen move around to make room for the widget. Moving on to the notification bar. Just pull it down and you get your regular list of notifications. Tap over here and it takes you to a list of shortcuts. Over here, the airplane mode is the only toggle. The rest are just shortcuts to the settings menu, as in tap on Wi-Fi and it takes you to the Wi-Fi option in settings. Alternatively, you can actually use 2 fingers to jump straight to the quick shortcuts. The camera on the Nexus 4 is optimized for single-handed usage. You can tap to focus, or if you tap and hold, you actually get a host of options here. You can jump into settings, or the balance, or switch cameras, HDR mode, and so on. And we also get a new feature called Photosphere. It's nothing but a 3D version of Panorama. So you can just go ahead and not only take side-by-side photos, but actually take a whole 3D perspective. So let me just quickly show you. So now I've just tapped this button and it actually stitches together all the photos that we took. Takes a few seconds for that. You can either view it as normal panorama, side by side, or you can tap this icon over here and you get a full 3D rendition. Well, it's not perfect, it's definitely a cool feature to have. And to check out what videos or pictures you shot, you just slide to the right and you get the film strip view. So over here you can check what videos or pictures that you've taken. Again, a nice little feature, and if you notice, even while you're checking the film strip view, the camera is still working in the background. You also get a host of post-processing options that you can apply to the pictures that you've taken. Another feature with Android 4.2 on the Nexus 4 is Daydream. This is basically a screensaver mode with conditions. That is, you can set it to turn on when the device is either docked or being charged or both. You can set it to display pictures, that is photo frame, or a collage of pictures, that is photo table, It is worth noting that it will even pull pictures from Picasa and Google+. You also have the option of setting it to just display colors, or headlines via currents, or a clock with a very low brightness. So guys, if you've noticed, I've spent more time demonstrating and showing you features of Touchwiz and the Galaxy S3 than I've spent with the Nexus 4. The reason being, Touchwiz is an overlay of Android, and Nexus 4, even though it comes with Android 4.2, it's still Jelly Bean. Android 4.2 is an incremental update to the Android 4.1 found on the Galaxy S3. So there is not a lot of things that the Nexus 4 can do that the Galaxy S3 doesn't do already. But then again, though Touchwiz gets you a lot of features, it's personal preference on whether you see these features as useful or you just look at them as gimmicks. Me personally, I like Touchwiz. I've been using it for over a year now, and I like it. But at the same time, I do appreciate the cleaner and faster feel that you get with vanilla Android. So to answer the question of Galaxy S3 or the Nexus 4, as somebody who's been using both phones consistently, my personal opinion here is that the Galaxy S3 had just passed the Nexus 4, but not by much. But then again, this is without taking one very important factor into consideration, that being price. The Nexus 4, the 8GB variant, is being sold on lock for $299. The Galaxy S3, on the other hand, sells for $550 approximately. So here we are comparing a phone with another that costs almost twice as much, and that tells you a lot about the Nexus 4. When it comes to sheer dollar to performance ratios, the Nexus 4 is unrivaled. There's nothing even close. So if you're on the market and you want to get a great phone, you cannot go wrong with the Nexus 4. So that's pretty much it for this comparison video, guys. If you have anything to say, I'd like to know your views on the Galaxy S3 versus the Nexus 4. Please leave them in the comment section. I'll try to get back to you guys. So if there's anything you want to let me know, again, let me know in the comment section. And if you want to stay updated on my latest updates, follow me. You can hit me up on Facebook or Twitter or Google+. If you have any questions related to the Galaxy S3 or the Note 2 or the Nexus 4 or any device that I'm making videos on, hit me up at Cursed4Eva forums. That's www.cursed4eva.com/forums. So that's pretty much it, guys. And right now, let me just show you a little bit of behind the scenes stuff. So I use Adobe Premiere Pro to make my videos, guys, and at the bottom you see every single you can see a lot of pieces of videos put together. The ones you see on top in blue and pink, those are the video and JPEG files that I've used, and at the bottom those are the audio tracks that I've had to record separately. It's taken me 4 days to put this all together, and I've hardly slept. We get about 2 hours of mandatory blackouts every day where I'm from. So I've been sneaking naps in those 2 hours. Just worked really hard on this, guys. So now that you've seen it, hopefully I can request you guys to hit the like and subscribe buttons. So that's it, guys. And if you guys want to help me out even more, use my links to Amazon from the description. If there's anything that you want to order online, and if you can do it off Amazon, just go through my links, and every time you guys place an order, I tend to make a few cents to a few bucks. You don't have to necessarily, order smartphone related stuff. Anything would do. So that is if you guys do want to help me out. And if you don't, still, I'm happy as long as you hit the like and subscribe button. So, and for the full written comparison, head on over to Cursed4Eva.com. And that's it, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Stay subscribed, and I'll see you guys soon. Till then, you guys have a great day. Bye bye now.